Hey everybody, this is a short video where I want to talk a bit about how to optimize some clearing of the screen when you have an entire image you want to clear instead of a standard color to the background. Now this video is not part of the game jam, this is more targeted towards any OLC users. And this is a specific function that I worked out with help from Javid and others on the forum. And I want to show you why I do this. Now, this image you see here is actually a background image that is 1024 by 768 pixels. That's pretty big for the OLC pixel game engine, because what it does is for each and every single pixel it draws, it will check and see if that pixel is within the screen and if it's possible to draw it. And this can be pretty heavy on the system. So as you can see, I'm running at 20 frames per second. That's actually pretty high right now. Usually I'm at about 10 frames per second with this. And it gets even worse when we get into the game itself. So let's see here. So this entire background is the same. It's an image. And when you already have a lot of units moving around and all that, you can see it starts to get a bit clunky. 15 frames per second. And we do want it to be at least 24-30 frames would be nice. And this is without any special details on the map or anything. So let's look a bit about why that is. Now, when we run the game, we will usually be calling some sort of draw functions from time to time. Let's see here. For instance, in the main menu, we will call the draw sprite and set it to 00 and take the picture we want to draw to the screen. Now when we call draw sprite will make sure that none of the pixels in our sprite here is outside of the screen, because it don't want to draw them. It's the same thing that happens down here in the game. But with the help of Javid, I made another function called clear with sprite. This function basically works like the normal clear function, but instead of setting a single color, it will set an image, just like we did here before. So if we remove the draw sprite function here and start our game again, this will take a bit of time. I'm on the laptop right now, which is stupid for this purpose, but it will work. So as you can see here, suddenly in the main menu we are running at 150 frames per second. And when we get into the game, we still are at 80 frames per second. Everything is way smoother, because we're not using so much time to check that everything is within bounds. So let's take a look at how this does it. I must have jumped over something, sorry. There we go, sorry. A bit confused. So this is the clear with sprite function. So basically it takes some sprite that is the target. Now this sprite will be your normal draw target. And it takes some sprite that you want to draw to that target. The first thing it does is it makes sure to see if the sprite that we have is the same size as the target, that is, as the screen, when it comes to memory. But we also have to make sure that we have the same height and the same width on those two images. So we'll check for that. The reason we do both check for the memory size and the height and width is because it might be the same size in memory, but what if we have just juggled around with the sizes? We could have one that is 15 by 10 or one that's 10 by 15. We want to make sure that doesn't happen, but this is a single check for everything on the image. If that's the case, then we'll do something called memory copy, or a memcop. And we'll get the data of our target and our what's called source image, and simply switch that into the place. What happens is that instead of taking every single pixel and copy them one by one, it simply will say that the target's memory is the same for a copy of the original memory. So there will be no checks of anything, it simply just copies it byte for byte. It's way faster. Now I've put in a bit of checks and balance in this function. So if we don't have the same size, or if the memory copy somehow fails, that can happen, we will simply draw the sprite normally. So this way you will still have the draw function, draw sprite, but only if it's not possible to memory copy. Then we'll return true. Well, sorry, it won't return true. And then we have this little error message if you want it. Now to call this function instead of normal clear or draw sprite function, you simply say clear with sprite and get draw target. This will give you the current target of the draw function, be it the screen or another, another sprite. And then the sprite you want to draw to the target. Now to get any benefit, you have to make sure that the sprite is the same dimensions as the draw target. The entire code will be in the link below. Video. Thank you for watching.